The new Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, build life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host.
Grand Rising to you beautiful people, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the New Black Wall Street, our Money and Power show. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, and international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. The book that I wrote, guys, is The Study of Black Wealth. It's a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, that's a big if, by the way. But if you do, I recommend that you study wealthy people. Good old delay. You can find your copy of the book by simply going to the website www.theblackbillionairesclub.com, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com. Pick up your copy today. Today's episode is being brought to you by ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace which specializes in Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and also Black art-inspired gifts. Here at ERGJ Black Bazaar, we do have your personal protective equipment available. You can come on over here and click on this tab. You'll find all types of masks, sanitizer, cleaning products, gloves, all that stuff, man, to help you, protect yourself during such a time as this, guys. Let's not be foolish. We are seeing a rise in coronavirus again for our second wave coming through. States that have opened are starting to scale back and close again. So, be smart, okay? And even if you don't do it for yourself, do it for other people. Respect other people enough to wear the mask and practice social distancing until further notice, okay? But you can pick up some of that stuff right here from ERGJ Black Bazaar to help you to stay, to keep your supplies filled, so to speak, here at ERGJ Black Bazaar. We do also have other items and other businesses that we do support, i.e. our Black-owned business partners. So when you come over here, you can also check out here on our tab. You can check out other Black-owned businesses that you actually can support and do business with. So just know that when you come to the RGJ Black Bazaar, it's we really focus on the Black experience, the Black shopping experience, and we've connected ourselves with other Black businesses that give you great customer service as they fulfill your request for some of their stuff. Man, you can check us out by simply going to the website www.theblackbazaar.com, www.theblackbazaar.com. I want you guys to remember this, man, that once you shop Black, you never go back. Once you shop Black, you never go back. Well, grand rising to you guys. Thanks so much for joining us here today. I'd love to know who's connecting with us here this morning. Hit the like button, the share button if you care. Like button, the share button if you care. While we are here with the free financial education for our community this morning, and we're broadcasting live across Facebook and also YouTube live this morning on the World Wide Web. Our studios is here in Decatur, Georgia, and love to know where you're connecting from this morning. Go ahead and let us know what city, what state, what country, what city, what state, what country you are representing here this morning, as we're going to have a wonderful time getting into some stuff about money. That's right, money and the power. Man, grand rising to you, Queen Mona is in the house. I believe you're out of St. Louis, I believe. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Brother Carlton is in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show. Queen Phyllis is in the house out of Brooklyn, New York. Grand rising to you as well. And for anyone else that might be joining us here this morning, good day to you. Now, we're going to begin our show by this is Wednesday, by the way. And so on Wednesdays, we do continue along with our 52-week savings challenge. Our 52-week savings challenge, and we are into week number 27. This is the first day of the first week of the second half of the year. The first day of the first week of the second half of the year. So if your first half didn't go so well, that's okay. You can begin your second half off the right foot. And so our 52-week savings challenge. Now, what is this, guys? This is basically a challenge that each week, according to the week, we're going to put that amount of money, the number of that week, into our savings container. So this is week 27. We'll put $27 into our piggy bank, our bank account, our savings container, whatever that is, until we get to the end of the year. And then by the end of the year, we'll tally it up, and we should be close to about $1,500 if my math is correct. Could be 13 something, 1,400, something like that. But my goal is to get to 1,500. So I'll just top it off if I'm not there. But anyway, this is week 27 of the 52-week savings challenge. It's the Save Train. And I'm your conductor, Mr. Save-A-Lot, for our 52-week savings challenge, week 27. So there we're going to put $27 into our savings container. And I do have a savings container here. This is my straight out of money container. And so this just reminds me that if for some reason this thing should be empty, I must be straight out of money. And so we do have our challenge here. We do have our 20, our 5, our 6, and our $7 to go into our container here today to complete our savings challenge for the week. Go on in there, find some room in their money. We're going to do some consolidating pretty soon. And not only do we do our savings challenge, we also have our money quote of the day as well. And this comes from P.T. Barnum, my best friend Barnum and Bailey, the circus. And he said this, that money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant or an excellent slave. Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant or an excellent slave. How many guys have gotten to a place in your life where you have made money your slave? You've made money work for you. You haven't been, you stopped being succumbing to the will of money, and you have actually made money succumb to your will. Money is a terrible master, but it is an excellent slave. 52-week savings challenge is now complete. My straight out of money container goes back into its position, and I think of it no more. And this simple philosophy is if I save money today, then later, just maybe, my money can save me. All aboard! Man, how many guys are keeping up with this? You are, you're week 27, you're complete. That will put us at $378 at least in our savings container. So hopefully you are following along with us here today. Can you start today? Absolutely, Dre. You can start today. I would probably say start with week 1. Just start with the first day and then continue along your journey. That will put you at 26. That put you at half of the challenge. If you can start at week 27, start there and keep going along. I don't necessarily agree with necessarily trying to play catch up because it's all about establishing a habit. So if you establish a week to week habit, you're going to, here's the deal. When I miss weeks or I forget or like I didn't prepare my money, I'd be like, oh, it's Wednesday. Oh, Lord. It made me feel a certain type of way because it's become a habit. My savings has become a habit. And so I just encourage you to start the habit, however it is that you want to start. But absolutely, you can start now. You can start today. You can start right now. And, so yeah, get you a container of some sort, a piggy bank or whatever it is. And I won't say a hat, but something that you can say, you know what, I am going to commit to paying myself first. I work hard enough. Money comes in, but it may seem to find its way away from me. But I'm going to commit to paying myself first. And here's what happens. What happens is you begin to notice that you don't even miss what you have saved. Because then you start moving to this place where you discipline yourself to live around the other percentage of what you, of your money. And it's, I don't even look at it. It's there, but I guess it would have to be a super emergency for me to care that it's there. But that's kind of what happened for me. Anybody else got any testimonies as relates to if you've been going through this challenge, you've been, week by week, that you have as relates to what you have been doing and what you have experienced during the first half. 26 weeks that you've experienced through the first half of saving. So she said, hey, I will start with 327. I don't want to be behind, LOL. Well, that would be, today we'll make 378 if you want to catch up. Today we'll make 378. And then next week we will add, $28 because it'll be week 28. Okay. It'll be week 28. So guys, that was our 52-week savings challenge. We will be getting a little bit into the stock market today, but we are really, I want to catch up where we have been in one of the greatest financial books that I have read, which is the Richest Man in Babylon. And we were discussing meeting the goddess of good luck. So before we get into that, I will take a quick look at the stock market to see if there's anything there for us to talk about here as well. So let me pull that up for us, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, guys, so let's take a look and see what's going on in the market. This is Welcome to Wall Street Wednesday. So for those of you who have joined the Black Billionaires Club, we will be going through a lot of this in detail tonight, but this is just kind of an overview, a quick market recap. And a lot of things are going on, man. So there is, the interesting thing is that we have seen this coming, right, as it relates to we're seeing the rise in coronavirus cases as they're doing more testing. We have fears of another shutdown. We've talked about, well, what happened with the shutdown, the first shutdown, and what can we expect to happen if it does shut down again? And there are some industries that are really, really, have a real negative effect response or a negative impact as it relates to what's going on with this whole pandemic thing. And then you also have, these businesses and small businesses that, honestly, guys, just may not recover, may not make it through because, for such a time as this, in order to stay in business, you got to have some cash reserves, and especially amongst our community, a lot of our businesses are operating paycheck to paycheck or customer to customer, never really get into a place where they have some cash reserves as it relates to their business, and then also them living. There's not much overhead there. But at any rate, there was in case you guys don't know, there was an extension for the employee protection plan or paycheck protection plan or something like that. I think through August that happened overnight. The Senate did approve that. And then let's see if I see anything else here. Air Mexico files for U.S. bankruptcy. So we're going to probably see quite a few of these airlines file for bankruptcy. China hits back. There's a trade war still going on between the United States and China. If you guys don't remember, in the first round, United States put out some tariffs and for imports. And that caused a big ruckus. That's why you start to see all those delays if you had stuff coming from Amazon or you had stuff coming from overseas, because the United States actually put some huge tariffs, which caused a delay in those things actually coming through. Plus the coronavirus with logistics and transportation, it was a big mess. But it seems to be slowing down now, but it may come back. In case you guys didn't hear about this last night, Netflix is investing $100 million into Black-owned banks. I think that's worth reading. I'm not going to read all of it today, but at this time. But it is, it is something that's happening now. The question I have is here's my question to you, because I just have never. Maybe I don't understand this impact, but I asked myself this question as I read this last night.
Take control of your cloud with Dell Technologies. Accelerate.
How many of us actually, believe that Black-owned banks, are really are like a big thing for Black people? And the reason why I ask that is because I just have not, in my life, I just have not seen any huge impact from one bank to the other. I mean, it's just for me personally. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I just don't really know. I really have not felt like this huge, okay, this bank is doing something special for black people in my life. So I just have never believed that, okay, black owned versus white owned or whatever as it relates to the bank, being that they follow this very similar rules. I just have not seen that in my life, and maybe because I just don't participate in that. But at any rate, a good gesture maybe from Netflix, and we'll see, I guess, what these banks do with the money. But let's talk about a little bit about what's going on here. So it says minority banks and credit unions represent just 1% of America's total commercial banking assets, just 1%. They say we believe bringing more capital to these communities can make a meaningful difference for the people and the businesses in them, helping more families buy their first home or save for college, and more small businesses get started or grow. And again, if it's a 1% representation of America's total commercial banking assets, there are other. I'm just saying there are other banks that help businesses, help small businesses grow. That give small businesses loan. That provide loans for homes and colleges. I just have not seen. I just don't think the bank is what's up. But at any rate, it could be, right? And it's great that there's an influx of money going into these particular institutions or banking institutions. I just don't know what kind of impact it's going to make. USC President and CEO Maurice Jones said most black-owned businesses are sole proprietors and up to 10 employees with annual reserves of less than $1 million and typically aren't prioritized by large commercial banks like Chase, Bank of America, or Wells Fargo. He said Netflix approached his organization about a potential deal after the May 25th killing of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police, which set off a national reckoning over systemic racism. Jones said that Netflix is one of several major companies that have invested in Lysk over the last 3 weeks. He said he's never seen anything like it. The outpouring of support that black-owned financial institutions have received since Floyd's killing, but noted that support needs to be sustained over a period of years if companies are sincere in wanting to close the nation's racial wealth gap. So you're right. Netflix is trying, I guess. They're doing something. They're putting their money where their mouth is. They're putting it into the hands of some black represented organizations or institutions that relates to financial institutions. So we will see, I don't know if whoever will feel this impact, but nonetheless, kudos to Netflix, okay? Kudos to Netflix. They're doing more than some, okay? They're doing more than some. So I can appreciate that. Anyway, let's keep going. JCPenney is doing worse than we thought. I mean, who doesn't know that JCPenney will be going out of business, will be filing for bankruptcy if they have not already? I mean, that's almost a foregone conclusion at this particular point. Who's shopping at JCPenney? Nobody. Who's shopping at JCPenney? Nobody, right? So Beyond Meat is going over to Alibaba's grocery store in China. This is interesting as well. So Beyond Meat is actually expanding their territory. That's great also. Let's catch up on the market. I did want to look at that as well. See what happened yesterday. So again, we're seeing fears trump up. We're seeing unemployment rise. But look how Wall Street is responding. So yesterday there was a something that came out for home sales. Because and that's been a big impact for Boeing. So we see that across the board the market was up yesterday. It had a very slight impact on my portfolio, but up nonetheless. You talk about 0.85%, almost 1% for the Dow, almost 2% for NASDAQ, and 1.5% for the S&P 500. Again, hopefully we understand at this point that the NASDAQ, as we see down here, has been performing fairly well for the year. So although the Dow's down, all the S&P 500 is down, all these technology companies have been doing well because people are using technology more in order to work from home, in order to do stuff online and all that stuff. So hopefully you have made some adjustments in your portfolio to grab you up some of these technology companies that are doing well this year. If you're heavy in the Dow, you might not be feeling all that well right now. But if you're heavy in the NASDAQ or you have some diversification into the NASDAQ or into technology companies, you probably are feeling okay right now. You're like, oh, no big deal. We're still making money. We're still growing our wealth. Citizens Financial Group was up 7% yesterday. Phillips 66 was up 4%. But look what was down. Boeing was down after having a gangbusters day the day before. They were up 14% on Monday. They then dropped down 5% on Tuesday. We'll see what happens today. Oil is up again, up to $40 a barrel. That is significant. We do see gasoline across the country, regular unleaded gasoline, about $1.71 per gallon of regular unleaded gasoline. Gold is still propped up. It's approaching. It's approaching 1800 per ounce of gold. Silver is approaching $19 per ounce of silver. So these precious metals have actually increased in value during this time of uncertainty, which is normal, right? Now we see the emotion that's driving the market. It's back into neutral. So 2 days ago it was in fear, but then I said we got to see if this thing gonna keep dropping down the fear, giving us more opportunity to buy, or now it's back up to neutral, so pushing money back into the market. Although, where is this money coming from? It's coming from these big institutions, okay? So money's going right back into the market, although you don't necessarily see this money right back into society or back into the marketplace. Very, very interesting. And so that's a quick recap here. Let me do a quick refresh to see where we are. Looks like we might be opening up a little low this morning. We see the Dow futures, the SP 5 futures down 0.5% going into the morning. So we may be looking at a opening day of stocks being down. We do also see that, in case you guys don't know, the stock market had a great quarter from March to June, right? This is the second quarter. The market, or Wall Street, had a great quarter, although all of this stuff is going on since March with the pandemic. Go and figure. Great quarter, although the market or the marketplace or society didn't have such a great quarter. So money does not necessarily follow the things that we see in society, okay? So Miss Vivian Reed said, don't touch it. That's right. Okay, good morning to you, Miss Crystal Hill, Miss Jennifer Almanor, Grand Rising to you. Thanks so much. Welcome to July, everybody. Brother Sidney Mealy is in the house. Thanks so much for joining us here today, again, on the Money and Power Show. So I'm going to get into continuing our lesson into what I consider to be one of the greatest financial literacy books ever written, written back in 26, I believe. Let's see if I get that right. This is an updated version. I gotta get my old book. I don't know. The original version back in 1926 or 1906, and it's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, The Richest Man in Babylon is a book that that helped me as I read through it and I began to adopt its principles. Helped me to go from being a financial zero to a financial hero. And then I stand before you today as a certified financial educator, still trying to teach other people the principles that I learned just reading through this book. And those principles don't change. They have not changed. I doubt they ever will change as it relates to the management of money. And also things that you can do in your own space to go from being a financial zero to being a financial hero, or to level up when it comes to your bank account. And so we're into this section of the book called Meet the Goddess of Good Luck. And Arcad, who is the richest man in Babylon, the richest man in the land, the richest man in the country, whatever you want to call it, he is now having a discussion with the men of the land, men are considered to be the head of the household. So you always talk to the men. Back in the day, you always talk to the men. And he has them in this place called a Temple of Learning. And they're having a dialogue and a discussion. And I want us to, that part there is very key. Because in the old days, whenever there was teaching going on, there was dialogue, discussion, and debate. There was dialogue, discussion, and debate. And I really believe that if we get back to this type of teaching, where people can actually ask questions and question the teacher, or at least have the dialogue that goes through the question and the debate and all that stuff, I believe there'll be much more understanding all these different vantage points. But we've gotten to a place where it's, where the teaching is, I'm going to teach and you just take in what I say. And I don't want you to think about none of this stuff because this is correct. And we find that there to be some falseness that takes place in these learning centers. Again, I want to stress that again. There was dialogue. Now think about this for example. What if we got the black billionaires, all 12 of them, into a room? And they said, you know what? We want to help the people to level up in their finances. And you went into their their auditorium or workshop or wherever it is that they were. And instead of just sitting there and being pumped up with all this motivational stuff and the things that you couldn't do and what do and all that stuff, what if there was dialogue, discussion, and debate? How much more would you appreciate the words that were coming out of their mouth if you could actually have some dialogue, some discussion, and some debate? Not that you're debating to say today that won't work for me, but the debate is really just to grab some better understanding as it relates to what it is that's coming out of the mouth, because you might just not quite get it, and that's okay. Dialogue, discussion, and debate. So here he is, Arcad, talking to these men about good luck, and they were talking about, hey, where can you find it and all this stuff. They talked about the horse race, the casino, the gambling table, and he got to a place where he said he started talking about finding real good luck in your work. Real good luck in your work. So he said this. He said, I look to find good luck, or her, the goddess of good luck, not at the gaming tables or the races where men lose more gold than they win, but in other places where the doings of men are more worthwhile and more worthy of reward. Worthy of reward. And see, in tilling the toil and honest trading in all of man's occupations, there is opportunity to make a profit upon his efforts and his transactions. He's talking about your work. Perhaps not all the time will he be rewarded, because sometimes his judgment may be faulty, and other times the winds and the weather may defeat his efforts. Yet, if he persists, everybody put in the console, persist. Yet, if he persists, he may usually expect to realize his profit. This is so because the chances of profit are always in his favor. Now, earlier today, as we were doing our motivation, we were talking about how whoever works his land, right, will have plenty of bread. We also said in all labor there's profit, and we're backing this up from the richest man in Babylon, saying, "Hey, I have found that those who persist in their work can usually expect to realize a profit." He also goes to say, "Man, this is so because the chances of profit are always in his favor." Now, I've asked this question over and over again, and we get very few responses when it comes to this question. Again, what is your work? What is your land? What is your lane? And will you work diligently in your lane? Where the chances, right? The chances of you gaining profit is in your favor because you're already in that lane. He says, but hey, the man that plays the games, the situation is reversed, for the chances of profit are always against him and always in favor of the gamekeeper. The game is so arranged that it will always favor the keeper. It is his business at which he plans to make a liberal profit for himself from the coins bet by the players. Few players realize how certain are the gamekeeper's profits and how uncertain are their own chances to win. So he's saying this, he said, man, when you go to play the games, the money games, your chances of winning are very slim because that's not your lane. That is the gamekeeper's lane. The gamekeeper's lane, that's his chances of winning are very favorable because he's in his lane. And that's what he provides to the community, a place for the other people to play the games. He says, for example, let us consider wagers placed upon the cube or the dice. Each time it is cast, we bet which side will be the uppermost. If it is the red side, the game master pays us 4 times our bet. But if any other of the 5 sides comes uppermost, we lose our bet. Thus, the figures show that each cast, we have 5 chances to lose, but because the red pays 4-1, we have 4 chances to win. In a night's play, the game master can expect to keep for his profit 1/5 of all the coins wagered. Can a man expect to win more than occasionally against odds so arranged that he should lose 1/5 of all he bets? Yet some men do win large sums at times. Volunteered one of the listeners. And here's what happens. Here's what people say. So, well, somebody did get the $4,000. Yes, somebody does win. And I want you guys to understand that's the nature nature of the game. Somebody has to win so that there can be so we can say that somebody did win. But the chances of winning, the odds of winning, although someone did win, are still against you. Hey, quite so, said Arcad, the richest man in Babylon. Realizing this, the question comes to me whether money secured in such ways brings permanent value to those who are thus lucky. Among my acquaintances are many of the successful men of Babylon, yet among them I am unable to name a single one who started his success from such a source. He said, man, of all the people, all of the wealthy people, all the successful people I know, all of the black billionaires, all the black people that's in this town that are successful, I can't think of one who started his path to success in this way. I can't think of one that started their path to success with this blessing loom. I can't think of one that started their path to success on on blackjack. I can't think of one. Can you? I can't think of one. Can you? You who gathered here tonight know many or more of the substantial citizens. To me, it will be of much interest to learn how many of our successful citizens can credit the gaming tables with their start to success. Suppose each of you tell of those you know what you say. And if there are prolonged signs of a wag venture, what's thou inquiry include the gamekeepers? He says, you think of no one else, Arcad responded. If not one of you can think of anyone else, then know about yourselves. Are there any consistent winners with us who hesitate to advise such a source for their incomes? His challenge was answered by a series of groans from the rear, taken up and spread amongst the laughter. It would seem we are not seeking good luck in such places as the goddess frequents, he continued. Therefore, let us explore other fields. We have not found it in picking up lost wallets, neither have we found it in haunting the gaming table. As to the races, I must confess to have lost far more coins than I have ever won. Now, suppose we consider our trades and our businesses. Everybody putting comments on trade and business. Now, let us consider our trades. Let us consider our businesses. Is it not natural if we conclude a profitable transaction to consider it not good luck, but just a reward for our efforts? I am inclined to think we may be overlooking the gifts of the goddess. Perhaps she really does assist us when we do not appreciate her generosity. Who can suggest further discussion? What's going on with your brother Weathersby? Thereupon an elderly merchant arose, smoothing his genteel white robe. With thy permission, most honorable Arcad, and my friends, I offer a suggestion. If, as you have said, we take credit to our own industry and ability for our business success, why not consider the successes we almost enjoyed but which escaped us? Happenings which would have been most profitable. That they would have been rare examples of good luck if they had actually happened. Because they were not brought to fulfillment, we cannot consider them as our just reward. Surely many men here have such experiences to relate. Arcad said, well, this is a wise approach. Who among you have had good luck within your grasp only to see it escape? How many of you guys have had good luck within your grasp only to see it escape? It's the almost close. It should have happened, but it didn't happen. How did that $10,000 contract slip through my hands? Many hands were raised, among them that of the merchant. Arcad motioned to him to speak. As you suggested this approach, we should like to hear first from you. I will gladly relate a tale, he resumed, that thou illustrate how closely unto a man good luck may approach, and how blindly he may permit it to escape, much to his loss and later regret. Many years ago, when I was a young man, just married and well started to earning, my father did come one day and urged most strongly that I enter in an investment. The son of one of his good friends had taken notice of a barren tract of land not far beyond the outer walls of the city. It lay high above the canal where no water could reach it. The son of my father's friend devised a plan to purchase this land, build 3 large water wheels that could be operated by oxen and thereby raise the life-giving waters to the fertile soil. This accomplished, he planned to divide it into small tracts and sell to residents of the city for herb patches. The son of my father's friend did not possess sufficient gold to complete such an undertaking. Like myself, he was a young man earning a fair sum. His father, like mine, was a man of a large family and small means. He therefore decided to interest a group of men to enter the enterprise with him. The group was to comprise 12, each of whom must be a money earner and agree to pay 1/10 of his earnings into the enterprise until the land was made ready for sale. All would then share justly in the profits in proportion to their investment. Thou, my son, bespoke my father unto me, art now in thy young manhood. It is my deep desire that you begin to building a valuable estate for yourself and that you may become respected among men. I desire to see you profit from a knowledge of the thoughtless mistakes of your father. This do I most ardently desire, my father, he replied. Then this do I devise, that you do what I should have done at your age. From thy earnings, keep out 1/10 to put into this favorable investment. With this 1/10 of your earnings and what will it also earn, you can, before you are my age, accumulate for yourself a valuable estate. Here's my question that I'd like for you to consider, or the thought I'd like for you to consider. As you think about maybe your children, when it comes to this subject of money, are you like this father who said that I would like for you to do what I should have done at your age? In the comments below, I'd like for you to think about your kids right now, if you have kids, or your godchildren, your nieces, your nephews, and whatever age they are at this point, even your grandchildren. What is something that you wish they would do when it comes to money that you should have done when you were their age? Now, here's the thing. You might not have known to do it when you were their age. You might not have learned some of the stuff that you know now when you were their age. But what's something that you're saying, man, at this age, I hope and pray that you do this or you learn this or whatever the case at your age, and I wish I would have done it, or I wish I would have learned it when I was your age. See, I believe if we begin to think like this, and we start projecting into our next generation and our next generation things that we hope that they do, and then teach them how to do it, they'll be more inclined to actually do it. And notice I said not only just wish that they do it, but also teach them how to do it. Because here's the deal. The cycle can't be broken until somebody breaks the cycle. And that cycle actually can end through education or training or coaching. Now, I didn't do it. I didn't build the business when I was 10 years old. I didn't start whatever. I didn't take a economics class when I was 15 years old. But I understand the importance of these things now that I'm older, and I want to make sure that the next generation doesn't repeat the mistakes that I made. So I'm going to project and hope and pray and all that stuff that next generation, the people that I love, they do it. But not only am I going to hope that they do it, I'm willing to actually teach them, train them, coach them, or whatever. What's something for you? You're saying, man, as I think about my kids, or as I think about my kids' kids, as I think about my nieces, my nephews, as I think about the next generation, even if I don't have kids, I wish they would learn, and I hope that they do, that I didn't do when I was their age. Here's how we break generational curses. San Rico Air Rising to you, absolutely, man. Learn how money works and how it can work for them, right? I hope that they learn. I want them to learn. And not only do I want them to learn, I'm going to do all I can to teach them or put them in front of teachers to learn how money works. Phyllis said, man, invest. Man, I wish I would have started earlier. I wish I'd have done this at a young age. But I can live through the next generation or my kids' kids and make sure they do what I wish I would have done when I was their age. If we say invest and open a business, man, if I think about my kids or my grandkids and it's something I didn't do, but I wish and I hope that they do it. And I'm willing to lead them in the right direction in order to get it done. Miss Jennifer said, man, invest and save. Change your spending habits. Said, man, I'm going to work on making sure that their habits aren't like what mine were when I was their age. Right? Brother Ryan Great Scott said, man, I want them to learn how to invest. Man, to go from a spending mentality to an investing mentality where you spend after you invest. I went and made some money and my money made money for me. Now I can spend from the money that was made off the money that I made. Right? Brother Thomas Freeman out of Louisville, Kentucky, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, home of Muhammad Ali. Saving and investing early. Teach our kids early what we learned late. Teach our children early what we learned late. Man, what a phenomenal state of affairs this is. He goes on to say, man, thy words are words of wisdom, my father. Greatly do I desire riches. Yet there are many uses to which my earnings are called. Therefore do I hesitate to do as you advise. I'm young and there's plenty of time. How many of you guys have said that in your life? Said, yeah, I know I should do this. I want to be rich, but I got other obligations, other responsibilities. Right now, investing or saving is not a priority in my life. I got time to get rich. I got plenty of time. How many of us have had that same excuse? I got plenty of time to do that, mama. I got plenty of time to do that, father. I got plenty of time to do that, uncle. I got plenty of time. And then time just keeps going by, year after year, decade after decade. We're now 40 years old. What happened to all that time? So I thought at my age. At my age. Yet behold, many years have passed, and I've not yet made the beginning. So at the time when I was young, whatever that is, we don't know how old he was, but he was young. He thought to himself in his thinking, right, being young, dumb, and full of it, I got time. Yet, at his current age, many years have passed, and he has yet to get started with what he said he had plenty of time to do later on. He said many years have gone by, and I still haven't started. Oh, y'all know we're going to stop and take a pause for that. Many years have gone by, and you still have not started. Now, I know that there are some that are here today. They're listening for some strange reason. God calls you to be here right now, listening to this today. And you probably had some dreams, some ideas, some goals, some aspirations, something that you said the same thing to. I got plenty of time. I'll get to it later. Soon, someday, one day. And many years have passed, and you still haven't started. Many years have passed, and you still have not found the time to start, to begin, to build, whatever that is for you. How many guys can relate to that? How many guys, if you can relate to that, say I can relate. I can relate to that. Many years have gone by. All this time that I know that I thought that I had, but yet I still, in all these years, and all these days, all these weeks, all these months, all these years that have passed by, I still have not started. We live in a different age, my father. I shall avoid these mistakes. It says, opportunity stands before thee, my son. It is offering you a chance that may lead to wealth. I beg of you, do not delay. Go up to tomorrow go up upon tomorrow to the son of my friend and bargain with him to pay 10% of your earnings into this investment. Go promptly upon tomorrow. Don't delay. Opportunity waits for no man. Everybody put it down. So opportunity waits for no one. So his father, his wise father, who didn't do what he hoped his son would do when he was his age, is saying, man, listen, son, please listen to me. Right? Don't do what I did. Get up in the morning, go talk to this brother, go make this deal. It's going to be one of the best decisions you'll ever make in your life. Go do this. Opportunity waits for no one. Today it is here, soon it is gone. Therefore, do not delay. In other words, he's saying, act now. In spite of the advice of my father. Now, a lot of us got some in spite of moments. In spite of the advice. In spite of the advice of my mother, in spite of the advice of the Bible, in spite of the advice of my father, in spite of the advice of all these wise people that have come before me, in spite of their advice, we're going to do what we want to do. I did hesitate, he said. There were beautiful new robes just brought by the tradesmen from the east. Robes of such richness and beauty, my good wife and I felt we must each possess one. Should I agree to pay 1/10 of my earnings into the enterprise, we must deprive ourselves of these and other pleasures we dearly desire. So instead of taking 1/10 of my earnings to go invest in something that could bring me wealth, I wanted to buy some new clothes. My wife wanted a new garment. And we didn't want to deprive ourselves of what we had worked so hard for. So we wanted to we wanted to reward ourselves right now with more stuff. I delayed making a decision until it was too late. Much to my subsequent regret, the enterprise did prove to be more profitable than any man had prophesied. This is my tale showing how I did permit good luck to escape. In this tale, we see how good luck waits to come to that man who accepts opportunity. In this tale, we see how good luck waits to come to that man who accepts opportunity. We see that good luck waits to come to the man who accepts opportunity. Commented a swarthy man in the desert. To the building of an estate, there must always be the beginning. That start may be a few pieces of gold or silver which a man diverts from his earnings to his first investment. I myself am the owner of many herds. The start of my herds I did begin when I was a mere boy and did purchase with one piece of silver a young calf. This, being the beginning of my wealth, was of great importance to me. To take his first start to building an estate is as good luck as can come to any man. With all men, that first step, everybody put in console the first step. With all men, that first step, which changes them from men who earn from their own labor to men who draw dividends from the earnings of their gold, is important. The first step to go from being a person who only makes money by going to work to being a person who makes money by their money going to work for them. The first step is as good luck as can come to any man. And it's important. Some, fortunately, take it when they are young and thereby outstrip in financial success those who did take it later, or those unfortunate men like the father of this merchant who never take it. The first step, going from working for money to having your money work for you. This is why I continue to teach what I've been teaching for over a decade: investing. Here's why some of you said this very same thing. Here's what I would teach my children. Here's what I want my kids to learn that I did not learn, or I did not take advantage of, or I did not listen to the advice of others, which is invest. Had our friend the merchant taken this step in his early manhood when this opportunity came to him, this day he would be blessed with much more of this world's goods. Should the good luck of our friend, the cloth weaver, cause him to take such a step at this time, it will indeed be but the beginning of a much greater good fortune. Thank you. I like to speak also. A stranger from another country arose. I'm a Syrian. No, I don't want to go there. We'll catch that tomorrow. Let's read this again. To take his first start to building an estate. And these are the key words: first and build. And then we have the estate. The estate would be your wealth. Is as good luck as can come to any man. With all men, that first step, which changes them from men who earn from their own labor to men who draw dividends from the earnings of their gold, it is important. I'd like to ask this question in the comments below. How many guys have taken that first step? Now, although we may say, hey, I want my kids to learn this, how many guys have actually taken the first step yourself to change from men and or women who are only earning from your own labor to men and women who are now drawing dividends from the earning of your own money? How many guys have actually taken that step? The first step. I've taken the first step. I've changed. Not only am I hoping and wishing and praying and maybe going to even do the teaching and the training to make sure that the next generation or my kids' take that step early than I did. Not only that, but I've actually taken the step myself. I've actually taken a step myself. Then that way, when my kids look at me or my children's children look at me or my grandchildren look at me, they won't say, oh, you hypocrite. You wanted me to do something that you never did. That's a much larger thing to get people to adopt. But if they say, well, you didn't do it when you were my age, but you actually did do it and you're doing it now, well, now you become a believable teacher because you're practicing what you preach. So it does not matter that you are advanced in years. And it doesn't matter how many years have passed that you didn't start. What matters is that you're still here today, that you're still alive right now, and you got an opportunity to take the first step today. You have the opportunity to take the first step today. The first step from being a man or woman who only earns money from their labor to being a man or woman who changes and begins to learn how to earn money from the dividends of the earnings of their own money. Their own money. I used to only work for money. I may still work for money, but I've taken the first step to having my money work for me. I've taken the first step to having my money work for me. Ryan Great Scott said, man, I've taken that first step, man. I'm on the road. I got my money working for me. Queen Shanrika on her way to billions said, man, I've taken that first step. I got my money working for me. Thomas Freeman said, man, I've taken that first step. I've learned how to start making my money work for me. That's right, man. Vivian Reed said, I've changed. I've taken the first step. I'm on my way, right? I've taken the first step. I've got my money working for me. Queen Jennifer said, man, I've taken that first step by having my children do a budget sheet with me monthly. I've started to invest and I showed them the earnings. I've taken that first step of having my money work for me. Now, many of you guys have understand and see why I value this book so much. And also you see why I just said, you know what, we're going to go through this thing together as a family. To pick up some of these principles, concepts, thoughts that can help change the way that we think. And as we change the way that we think about money, then what we do and how we operate and how we manage money will begin to change. This is a New Black Wall Street and a Money and Power Show. In the comments below, I'd like for you to share something that you learned today, some thought that might have been provoked, or some idea that came to your membrane. I don't do this just to do this. I do this to make a difference, and this is my contribution back to my own community, back to society. That's right, free financial education for those who want to come to class. Free financial education for those who want to come to class. I'm simply asking you this question to answer in the comments below. Was this worth your time, and why? Today, we had our 27th week of the 52-week savings challenge. We are now at $378 total that we have saved throughout the first 27 weeks, or the first half plus one of the year. So although coronavirus is in the land, although people are losing jobs and businesses are going out of business and all that good stuff, we still have managed to be disciplined to save through all the tough times. We'll also take a look at the stock market a little bit and see what's going on in the market today. And we continued our journey into the richest man in Babylon as we're into the chapter, Meeting the Goddess of Good Luck. And so hopefully you've gotten something out of today that will help change the rest of your life. And that would be super exciting to participate in your future success. And hopefully as well, if you have not, that this has been a day that is prompting you to take the first step, to go from being a man and or woman who has only learned how to earn money from their labor, from their hard work, to being a man or woman who is now learning how to make your money work harder for you than you work for it, to make your money your slave. This is the Money and Power Show. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator. I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God, that's more than enough. Until next episode, you know what time it is. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
The new Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We will see you all there in the next episode of The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.